Vanchakalpatrubhischa Kripasinduvevacha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namanaha Om Gyantiramandasya Gyanjana Salakya Chakshomilitam Yana Tashmai Shri Gurve Namaha Chinada Pisunichana Taro Rapi Saishnana Amani Namana Dena Kitni Sadahari Anya Balasta Sunyam Yan Kamadhyana Vritam Anukalanya Krishnanu Shilanam Bhakti Uttama Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadata Shivasadi Ora Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, brothers and sisters. On this day 23 of Kartika, I think we're just on the cusp of the final week. We're building up for the last 5 days of Kartik, during which, by the way, if we have a vow that we weren't able to start at the beginning of Kartik and we want to do a vow, we do it for those final 5 days. I believe it's equivalent to the whole of Kartik. I remember that because from my first year, I was a bit shy about staying much time in India. So I thought I'd go to India the last 5 days and take good advantage of that. So this is day 23. It's we're celebrating, what's the festival called, Madhavat?
Gopastami.
Gopastami, thank you, Gopastami. And the visiting places we're going to are Killola Kunda, Gvala Pokara, Ratna Simhasana, Kusuma Sarova, and Narada Kunda. Now, we have one small problem, or large problem. Our beloved Sripad Bhaktivedanta Bhagavat Maharaja is MIA, missing in action, somewhere in America. Has anyone seen him? Please let me know where he is, because he's meant to be speaking tonight. But meanwhile, our beloved dear godbrother Madhavat in Germany is going to read us something from our wonderful Acharya Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur. Thank you, Madhavat. Haribol.
Yes, you're welcome. I hope I am audible, or shall I get
good.
my headset, or
I can hear you very well.
Okay.
Any problems with sound, please send me a note in chat.
Agyanatiminandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Vanchakalpatarupascha Kripasindupai Vacha Patitam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So it is the Bhaktivinoda Thakur Sharanagati, and this is from the section Avasya Rakshiba Krishna Vishvasa Pala, to maintain firm faith that Krishna will give all protection. And this is song number 3. I just will read the English translation without the Bengali verses. So here Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says, since I have fully surrendered at your lotus feet, my false ego has gone to a distant place. From now on, I will not endeavor for my own protection. O Lord, please consider me as one of your cows. Kindly give me protection and always keep me with you. O Krishna, feed me grass on the banks of the river Jamuna. Call me to you by playing upon your flute. O Kana of Gokul, you will always give me protection by killing the demons, such as Agasura and Bakasura. With the conviction that you will always protect me, I will peacefully drink the water of the Jamuna. You will rectify the offense committed by the serpent Kaliya. Then you will purify the poisonous water of the Jamuna and thus make me happy. You will save me from the scorching heat of the forest fire by swallowing it. You will then be fondly addressed as Gopal and Govinda. You will frustrate the wicked plan of Indra, the king of the demigods. You will protect me from incessant rain by lifting Govardhan hill. When the four-headed Brahma will steal me, you will save me because you are the sole protector of Gokul. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is a small part of your wealth in Gokul. Therefore, O Krishna, kindly protect him with a great care. Hare Krishna. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Vanchakalpatarupascha kripasindubhaivacha patinam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Thank you very much, Madhavrat. Thank you very much. I'm looking up in the Parikrama book. Madhavrat in Brighton, have you got the Parikrama book there?
Yes, I haven't got it right in front of me, but I can get it.
Could you maybe try and help me find?
Yeah. Okay.
I can't find the.
It's in the Govardhan section.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, Maharaj is here.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
Do by chat. Titanam Pravanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Let me put the light on so you can see me. It's dark in here. Ah, there we go.
Beautiful, beautiful.
All right. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Guru Parampara ki jai. Devotees ki jai. So, Gopastami, just quickly, since you've already gone through this whole thing, is that, you know, Krishna in his Komara period as a child from 5 to 10 takes care of the calves. And then when he's 10 years old, he gets the cows to take care of. And according to Bharti Maharaj, this is the day that they award him with the cows. And so they celebrate it as Gopastami because he gets the cows to take care of. Srila Bharti Maharaj tells some really nice stories about what happened when Krishna had the calves with the Brahma Vimohan Leela, which is very sweet. And he talks about how during the Brahma Vimohan Leela, there's one very significant point about Lord Brahma and his activities with stealing the cows. And he says that Lord Brahma, he is very bewildered at the time that Krishna actually bewilders him purposefully. And when he bewilders him, he takes away his ability to understand what he's doing by stealing all the cows. But he does this purposefully. Krishna does this purposefully for the purpose of giving all the elder gopis and all of the cows and all of the different inhabitants of Braj an opportunity to have him as a son and to serve him in that capacity to increase their Vatsalya Bhav, but also to make the special arrangement that Krishna is going to marry all of the gopis to fulfill their desire from doing the puja, which they did. They did the puja to Katyayani to get him as their husband. So he performs this Leela, or has this Leela performed. He works it out so that he can actually enjoy the marriage pastime, and that the gopis can be fulfilled and satisfied with their desire to be married. The other thing that I noted, there's several kunds here. There's Narada Kund. Manjulali had sent me the thing of the different kunds that we're going to be talking about. And of course, Narada Kund is the place where Narada Muni is desirous of understanding Madhurya Ras better and having a relationship with Krishna in that mood. And he gets dipped into this kund and comes out as a beautiful young gopi girl with all the information, unlike when Lord Shiva becomes a gopi girl and he's not given the information about his village or his name or his dress or, you know, all the different things, the husband and so on. Narada is replete with all of the Ekadasa Bhav. He completely understands who he is, what his role is in the Leela, everything that's to be done, and what his purpose is, what his particular service is, and he gets to execute that as Nardi Gopi, Sri Nardi Gopi. I once said to Gurudev, I said, Gurudev, Narada Muni celebrates Dasya Bhav, Sakya Bhav, and Madhurya Bhav. I said, so he has all the different moods. I said, shouldn't we try to become like Narada Muni? And he went, not in a billion bursts can you become Narada Muni. He thought it was hilarious that I even brought up the idea that you could become Narada Muni and enjoy all the rasas simultaneously. Prem Sarova is also on the list, and Prem Sarova is a very important activity during Prem Sarova. This is where we get the famous Prem Vaichitya. Prem Vaichitya, of course, is the simultaneous meeting and separation mood, which is a very rare occasion, happens. And this is the first time it happens. And this is when Krishna decides that he can leave Vrindavan because Radharani will be more intently focused on him in separation than in meeting. And this, of course, is when they're all playing at that Prem Sarova together, that all the cowherd boys and cowherd girls, and Radharani is sitting in Krishna's lap. And a bumblebee comes to Radharani's face and starts buzzing around. And when this bumblebee comes, she's trying to wave it off and it won't go. So finally, Madhu Mangal comes over with the cowherd stick and he starts swinging at the bumblebee. And he chases the bumblebee off and he's running after the bumblebee and he chases it away. And then he returns and calls the bumblebee in its Sanskrit name, Madhusudan. He said, Madhusudan is gone and he will not be returning. And when he says that, it completely frightens Radharani. She believes that Krishna is actually gone. And this is a very dangerous situation, to believe that Krishna is gone in this case. because Krishna is not gone. Krishna is definitely present. She's got her arm wrapped around his neck and she's sitting in his lap, but she's convinced that he's gone, and she starts feeling this mood of separation. And Krishna notes that she's feeling separation even though she's in union with him. And that's when he comes with this mood or this idea that, yes, I can leave here. I can leave this place at this time, and I can go from Vrindavan, because Radharani will still be deeply in meditation upon me, even though she's in separation from me. It'll be the same for her. So Prem Sarovar, very important place. Radharani and Krishna have this Prem Vaichitya feeling, experience of meeting and union and separation simultaneously. Then there is the story that Srila Bharti Maharaj tells, which I'm sure some of you, if not all of you, have heard the story before, but it's a story which he tells on this day of Gopastami about when Krishna is going to Radha Kunda to meet with Radharani. And this is an activity that he does on a daily basis. He goes to Radha Kunda because Radharani meets him there for the Madhyana pastimes, the midday pastimes. So he goes there to meet with Radharani. And Subal Saka, who is a Priyanarma Saka, who assists in the arrangements of the meeting between Krishna and Radha, has a feeling that he's going to be needed on this particular day. And so he follows Krishna to Radha Kunda. So when he follows Krishna to Radha Kunda and he gets there to Radha Kunda, he sees that Krishna is sulky and unhappy and disturbed by the fact that Radharani is not present. And so he then begins to, Subal, seeing that, begins to inquire from Krishna what the problem is. And Krishna says, well, Radharani did not come. She's supposed to be here, and I need her, and I'm missing her, and I want her. And so Subal says, well, I'll go and I'll get her and I'll bring her here. So this is very pleasing to Krishna that Subal is going to do this. And so what happens is Subal heads off to Yavat. And of course, it's Madhyana, it's midday pastimes. During the middle of the day, that's when people eat their meal. And if you've been to India, you know that a lot of people eat that hot luncheon meal in the doorway because it keeps them cool, keeps from the excessive heat of both the food and the day, the oppressive heat. And so sitting there in the doorway, Mother Jatila is eating her lunch. And up walks Subal, and she looks at Subal and she's like, oh no, you're from that naughty Krishna. Don't come here. You're going to create trouble. We don't want you around here. He said, Mother, please forgive me. He said, we lost one of our calves today. And the calves were supposed to be in one place, and this one calf was missing. And so we went to look at the place where the calf's mother comes from, and he's not in that place, and he's not in any other place. And so we're expanding our search to look in all the cow pens all around the area to see where the calf might have rolled off to. So if you would not mind, you could go in the back into your cow pen and look and see if there's a calf that doesn't belong there. And she said, I'm eating my lunch now. You want to go look? Go ahead. You go in the back and you go and look and see if your calf is there. So he said, okay, mother, I'll do that. So he goes into the back. And when he gets to the back end of the house, he walks through the back door and he goes to the room of Srimati Radhika and he knocks on her door. And he enters into her. She looks at him and she's shocked that, what are you doing here? And he's shocked that she's still there. But, he says, you're supposed to be with Krishna and Radha Kunda. He's waiting for you there. And she said, well, I can't go now to Krishna because mother has locked me up. She's trying to stop me from going to see Krishna. That's the very reason I'm locked up in this bedroom. So please understand that I can't leave here now. So Subal says, well, you have to figure out some way. We have to find a way for you to leave and go and see Krishna at Radha Kunda. So Subal has been blessed with a face that is identical to Srimati Radhika's. And so he comes up with this idea that he'll change clothes with Radhika. That Radhika will wear his clothes and she'll go to Radha Kunda, and he can wear her clothes and stay in the room, and Mother Jatila will not know the difference. So they swap the clothes. She takes her hair and ties it up in a big bundle and then puts the turban on the top of her head. And then she puts on the dhoti and she puts on the chadar, which doesn't cover her completely. And so she's disturbed about that. And he said, well, look, you go into the yard and I told her I'm looking for a calf. So just go and get the smallest calf and hold the calf to your chest like this. And then you can go to Radha Kunda and see Krishna there. So she goes in the back, she gets the calf, holds the calf to her chest, and she walks out front. Mother Jatila is saying, so you found your calf? And he's Srimati Radhika in Subal's voice said, yes, I found the calf, mother. I'm bringing the calf back. And so then Mother Jatila says, okay, get out of here. Go back to that naughty Krishna and don't come here again. So he goes and he gets to Radha Kunda. She goes, Srimati Radhika goes, and she gets to Radha Kunda. When she arrives, Krishna is looking at her and he's thinking, Subal has brought me a calf. I sent you to get me Radhika and you've come back with a calf. So when he puts the calf down, then he understands what's going on. And when she puts the calf down, when Radhika puts the calf down, he understands what's going on. And then they laugh and joke. And meanwhile, Subal has to get out of the house now. So how does he get out of the house? Well, he gets out of the house because Lalita and Visakha, they know what's going on. Something is wrong. So they go and they see Mother Jatila and they say, we're going to Surya Kunda today to do a puja in order for our husbands to live long. Can Radhika come? So, she says, well, I wasn't letting her out of the house because I didn't want her to go see Krishna in Radha Kunda, but if you're going to take her to Surya Kunda to do puja for the long life of Abhimanyu, then that's fine. You can take Radhika to that. So they go in the house and they go into the bedroom and there's Radhika, Subal dressed as Radhika, and they're all laughing and joking. And so they then become serious and they leave the house together and say, okay, mother, we're going with Radhika. We're going to Radha Kunda, to Surya Kunda. And so they leave, and of course they go to Radha Kunda, and then everybody meets up there and swaps clothes again and all of that. So this is one of the pastimes that Srila Bharti Maharaj tells on Gopastami. There are some other pastimes, which are, I was telling this morning about Krishna and Radhika. that were in that same mood of Hasyaras that was written by Rupa Goswami in order to pacify Raghunath Das, who was always weeping all the time. And this particular pastime was a lot of fun. This is one that's got to do with Radharani's going to the Yamuna during the month of Magh, and that comes up. Magh is January. And what happens is Radharani wants to go and see Krishna on a regular basis, but she can't seem to get out of the house because her mother is always questioning about where she's going. So she says to her mother that I've come up with an idea that during the month of Magh, every day, I'm going to go down to the Yamuna River in the cold water and take a bath. And that'll be a tapasya that I'll offer to Narayan in order for the long life of Abhimanyu, that Abhimanyu should live a long life. So Mother Jatila, always has these desires to increase the life and well-being of her son Abhimanyu. So she immediately agrees. Yes, of course. If you're going to do something to increase Abhimanyu's life, then by all means, you should go and you should do this. So then immediately she arranges to go to the Yamuna. And of course, when she gets to the Yamuna, what she does is she goes to meet with Krishna, and they dally in the groves. They're in one of the kunjas together, along with some of the other gopis, and they're involved in various love sports. And meanwhile, Kautilya, who is also Jatila's daughter, she's the sister of Abhimanyu and the sister-in-law of Radharani, comes to the house, and she sees her mother Jatila, and she notices that Radharani's not there. And so she asks, where is Radharani? Where is she? And Mother Jatila then tells her, well, Radharani is not here. She has gone to the river Yamuna to perform sacrifice, to perform tapasya for her husband. She takes baths in the cold water during the month of Magh, and that offers that tapasya to Narayan for the benefit of Abhimanyu. So Kautilya becomes very upset. She says, Mother, she's deceived you. She has no interest whatsoever to go and do anything with offering, doing the bathing ceremony in the Yamuna River. That's not her purpose, her intention. Her intention is to meet with Krishna and to perform some activities with him. And so you should not even allow her to go there, because she's going to be cheating on Abhimanyu when she goes there to the Yamuna River, hiding off somewhere in a kunj with Krishna. So Jatila becomes very upset. She says, well, I had no idea. Well, what can we do to resolve this? And she said, you can resolve it. I'll resolve it. I'll go. I'll straighten it out, and I'll see that she's not fooling around with Krishna. So she goes to the Yamuna. Meanwhile, they're all, Krishna and Radha and the gopis are holed up in a kunj with Vrinda Devi standing outside as lookout. And she's keeping an eye to see if anyone comes to disturb their fun. And what happens is she sees Kautilya coming from a distance. So when she sees Kautilya coming from a distance, she tells Krishna, Kautilya's coming. She's got steam in her eyes. She's really upset. She looks like she's on fire, and she's going to come here and make a lot of trouble for you and her sister-in-law. So Krishna tells the gopis, all right, you all get dressed and get out of here, and I'm going to find a solution to this. So the gopis leave in a rush. Krishna goes to Vrinda Devi and says, look, here's what I need you to do. I need you to make me look like Abhimanyu. So she uses her Yoga Maya potency. She makes Krishna look like Abhimanyu. Then Krishna goes over to the bank of the Yamuna road, and he's walking in the opposite direction, walking toward Kautilya, who's coming down that road, and she sees Abhimanyu, and she said, my dear brother, what are you doing here? Why are you here now? And he said, well, I came early this morning to meet with Govardhan Majumdar because we need another bull. And we can't manage the two different fields of plowing without having two bulls because it's too much work for one bull to do both the fields. So I'm making an arrangement to get a second bull. And we made a deal this morning, Govardhan Majumdar and I, for me to get that bull and bring it to Yavat. So he said, so what are you doing here? And she said, well, I'm here because Radharani is saying that she's coming to take baths in the Yamuna every morning and offering that sacrifice during the month of Magh to Lord Narayan for your benefit so that you have a long life. She said, but I know that she's dallying somewhere with Krishna in a kunj. And, Krishna as Abhimanyu says, oh, that's terrible. What are we going to do? She said, I want to go find them. And he said, okay, I'll go and hide in these bushes over here, and you go find Radharani and bring her to me. So Kautilya then goes off to find Krishna and Radha and see where they are. And she sees Vrinda Devi walking around over near these kunjas, and she goes over to Vrinda Devi and she starts complaining. You know where they are. You know where they are. She said, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know where anybody is. She said, yes, Krishna and Radha are together. She said, no, Krishna and Radha are not together. You can look in the kunjas are empty. So she was looking around and she goes into the kunj where they were, and Radharani's necklace and Krishna's chadar are on the ground. So she grabs the two of them and comes out of the kunj, and she's shaking them in front of Vrinda Devi. What is this? What is this? Why are these here? All right, now I've caught them. I've caught them indeed. Where are they now? She said, look, I don't know anything about it. I don't know how those got there. I don't know what to tell you. It's your own imagination. So she walks off, Kautilya, and she goes back to the place where Krishna as Abhimanyu is hiding in the bushes, and she shows him the shawl and the necklace and complains to him about it. So when he sees it, he's very upset. So she said, what are you going to do about this? So he's playing like he's upset. He's playing like he's disturbed by the whole thing. And then he says, well, I have an idea. You should go back to Yavat and explain to mother what's going on. And I'm going to go to Mathura. And I'm going to tell the king that Krishna is being very naughty and he's causing trouble by dallying with other men's wives, and that he should be punished. And we'll get the soldiers to come here and arrest him. So she said, okay, that's a good idea, and I'll go back to Yavat now. So she goes back to Yavat. When she arrives in Yavat, Radharani is standing there in the house with Mother Jyotila. Her sari is saturated, wet. Her hair is wet. She has been to take baths in the Yamuna, and she's all wet. So she says, all right, I caught you now. I caught you. You were dallying with Krishna in the kunj. She said, what are you talking about? Look, my sari is wet. My hair is wet. Everything is wet. I've been in the Yamuna River. I took a bath there. She said, then why is your necklace? What is wrong with your necklace? Why your necklace isn't on? I have your necklace. I found it in the kunj with Krishna's chadar. She said, oh, you found my necklace. She said, when I took it off when I went to take a bath because I didn't want to lose it, and a monkey came and grabbed it. So he must have grabbed that, and he must have grabbed Krishna's chadar and put them in the kunj. And I had nothing to do with it, so I don't know what you're talking about. And you know, Kautilya, of course, knows that this is all nonsense, and she's very upset. And so then, all of a sudden, Krishna, dressed as Abhimanyu, shows up at the house. And he comes to the house, and she said, "Did you go to Mathura?" And he tells Kautilya, "Yes, I've gone to Mathura. I've complained to Kamsa. I've told him what's going on, and he's sending the soldiers here, and the soldiers are going to come, and they're going to arrest him and take him away." And so then the two of them are very happy. Both Jyotila and Kautilya are very happy about this whole situation. And so then what they do is they tell Radharani to go and get dressed and get ready. And then suddenly Krishna, who's dressed as Abhimanyu, says to Kautilya and Jyotila, "But wait, we have another problem." And they said, "What? What's the problem?" "Krishna has dressed up like me, and he's coming to this house to try and fool you both into thinking that he's me and that he's coming to see Radharani." And the two of them get really angry, and they look out the window, and there's Abhimanyu himself coming down the road. So now they grab the brooms and they run down the road, and they start beating Abhimanyu. "We know who you are. We know you. What do you mean you know who I am? Sorry, I got into Ralph Cramden there. I'm Abhimanyu. I'm Abhimanyu, and why are you beating me? Don't beat me." So this is how the whole thing ends, with a whole bunch of foolishness and happiness. And Radharani and Krishna, of course, are watching this scene, and they're laughing and having fun, and they go off together. So again, tricky Krishna has fooled Jyotila and Kautilya and everybody else, and has managed to spend time with Radharani, which is his favorite pastime. Okay, those are a couple of stories for you guys today. Is there some questions that anybody has today about anything, or anything that you want to ask about for any other purpose or any other reason? We've got about 10 minutes left.
Maharaj, thank you for that. You did pretty well from sleep to Qatar in 30 seconds. That was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
We should have all the sannyasis. We should line them up and see who can go from sleep to Qatar the quickest, like a car accelerating, you know? That was pretty good.
I mean, I literally just, woke up and started talking.
My wife once caught me sleeping during a conversation while I was speaking. So, okay, good. Somebody's got a question, so I don't have to hear myself talk nonsense. The question, wonderful. Madhavrat, is it you or Sureshri with the question?
Oh, yes, it's me. Can you hear me okay?
Very well, very nice.
Haribol. Dandavats Maharaj.
Dandavats Madhu.
Haribol. I just wanted to ask, we were reading in Srila Bharati Maharaj's class about Gopastami, and he stated that the cows are in Santaras in Vrindavan.
Yeah.
But I'd heard, and I don't know where I've got this from, but I'd heard that they were in Dasyaras. So I just wanted to get, I know there's no pure Shanta or Dasya in Braj, it's always mixed. And I'd heard that it was Dasya mixed with...
That's the way I heard it from Gurudev also. I was a little surprised.
Oh, you also heard that?
Yeah, I also remember hearing Gurudev saying that there's no pure Dasya Ras in Gopa. that
Mm.
that it's mixed with Shantaras and Goloka, or even Dasya, that's mixed with some higher rasas, that the predominant rasas, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. There's also Dasya, like Raktak and Patrak are in Dasya ras.
Mm.
But Shantaras, I've heard that there's no pure Shantaras, that it's mixed with Dasya or Sakya. That's what I remember hearing from Gurudev somewhere in one of his lectures. But
Yeah.
it would be hard pressed for me to say which lecture I heard that in, because you know, he's given so many of them that I attended, so I don't remember exactly which one it is. But I'm pretty sure you're correct. But you know, there's going to be some. I mean, Nemi Maharaj and I heard Bharti Maharaj say one time that our Swarup is an acquired thing. It's not fixed. And so neither of us said anything to him at the time when he said it. We went up to our room and we talked about it. And we both came to the conclusion that, you know, he may have a little different perspective on things, but we're getting so much juice from this association, so we're not going to get involved in it. And then what happened was, at various times, I've heard other people from their Sangha say the same thing. In fact, there was in England at the festival that we had in Cornwall that year, Madhusudan Maharaj was there, and he said it, and of course Madhav Maharaj opposed it. And then after that, you know, Bharti Maharaj said differently. So
but with the cows, that Shanta ras is mixed with something else rather than Dasya ras. I think
I'm almost positive that I've heard Gurudev say on a couple of occasions there's no pure Shanta ras. I've heard him say
okay.
that.
Thank you.
He may actually, if he was present, Bharti Maharaj, and said, well, is it pure Shanta ras? He'd say, no, it's Shanta mixed with. He may say something like that, but he's not here now to discuss it with, so it's hard to say. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Maharaj.
Maharaj, was that epic festival with where you and Ashram Maharaj had that Nrsimha fight?
Yes.
That was brilliant.
Festival.
That was phenomenal.
The epic festival.
That was phenomenal.
Broke the chair.
I got to play Nrsimha Dev in Mayapur in front of Gurudev, and I got to play Nrsimha Dev in front of Prabhupada in Bombay. So I played Lord Nrsimha Dev twice. I must have some. There's got to be something with me in that Leela that I played that in front of two different pure devotees in two different places.
I did that once at the Gangas, and the kids loved it, but the adults were all frightened.
Well, when I did it in Bombay, we were preparing. I had this idea, you know, we because Bombay is, you know, full of theater and movies and everything. So we got a professional Nrsimha Dev costume. I had the lion's head with the crown and the whole thing. I was dressed to the nines as Nrsimha Dev, you know. And I took one of these big, thick bamboo mats and I wrapped it around a pillar. And I made a false pillar. And I sat in that pillar from 4 o'clock in the afternoon to 7 o'clock at night for 3 hours so that no one would see me in there. No one knew I was in there. Prabhupada didn't know I was in there. Nobody knew I was inside this false pillar on the edge of the temple. And then Jagat Baruch comes over with a wooden sword and he hits the pillar and I come, you know, and my godmother Sridhar was roaring in the microphone, you know. So of course, I had these just the, the holes to look through, and I could see Jagat Purush, and I just went for him. And he's a tall, thin guy, and I basically lifted him, held him in the air, and then sat down and put him on my lap, and
Did you excoriate him, Maharaj?
Huh?
Did you excoriate him?
Yeah, yes. So what happened was, somebody told me later, I said, what happened with Prabhupada? And they said, oh, Prabhupada was sitting on the Vyasa. He said, when you came out, Prabhupada won. He said, you managed to frighten Prabhupada.
How long were you in the pillar for?
Like 3 hours.
My God, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Sitting there chanting for 3 hours, waiting for the guy to hit me with the sword. It was fun. And then, Ashram Maharaj and I did it in Mayapur, in Navadvip, at the big Navadvip temple one year. And Gurudev saw that and he laughed. So I got to perform the Shringadev for both the Acharyas.
That's hilarious. We have a request. We have a request from Damodar. Could you speak about Srinivasa Acarya?
Srinivasa Acarya. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's really.
Well, today is Gadadhar Das Goswami, not Gadadhar Pandit, but Gadadhar Das Goswami's disappearance day, and Srinivasa Acharya's disappearance day, and Damodar. And it's very interesting because Gadadhar Das Goswami is considered a manifestation of Radharani's effulgence. And Gadadhar Pandit is internally Radharani. So between the two of them, they're a complete Radharani. And he was known as to be very antagonistic, not antagonistic, fearless. He was known to be very fearless in his preaching, and he even preached to a Muslim king who was very antagonistic to the devotees, and he got him to chant. He badgered the man. And then the man said, the king said to him that I'm not going to chant Hari's name now. I'll chant Hari's name later. And Gadadhar Das Goswami said, well, you already said Hari's name, so it's done. So Srinivasa Acharya, of course, the story about him was that he was on his way to getting married when who was it that saw him? I forget who it was, but he was on his way to getting married, and this one of the Goswamis, for some reason I can't remember which one right now. Please forgive me if someone knows. Say it, but they mentioned that he was wasting his life by getting married. And so what happens is Srinivasa Acharya gets off the palanquin where he is with his wife, and he goes down to talk with this Goswami, and the Goswami explains to him how he's going to lose everything by getting married and getting stuck in married life. And when he hears the preaching of the importance of becoming detached from material sense gratification, he gives up everything. And he asks them to take the woman home to her husband and to her father so that she could live with her father again. And then he takes to renunciation. He ends up becoming Gopal Bhatta Goswami's disciple. I think it may have been Gopal Bhatta Goswami who talks him out of getting married, but he ends up becoming Gopal Bhatta Goswami's disciple. And he performs a very important service. He's the one when the three Goswamis are ordered by Jiva Goswami to bring the literature, the different Vedic literature that has been written by Rupa, Sanatan, Krishnadas Kaviraj, and the other Goswamis. They're supposed to go to the different temples, and they're supposed to go to the different kingdoms and put copies of the books in the libraries of the temples and the kingdoms. And all of the books are stolen in one kingdom based on an astrologer's assessment that there's an invaluable treasure on that cart. And Srinivasa Acarya sends Narottam and Shyamananda ahead, tells one of them to go to Bengal and one to go to Orissa to preach, and that he's going to recover the books. And he goes and he preaches to that king, makes him a disciple, and recovers all the books. And so that was a very important service that he performed. And of course, he wrote that song, Krishna Kirtana Gana Nakta Naparo, the Sad Goswami Astakam was written by him. So he made a lot of important contributions to our Gaudiya Vaishnav line, very important contributions. And Gadadhar, and then the other one was Damodar. Damodar, what is his name? Damodar Pandit, Dhananjaya, not Damodar, Dhananjaya Pandit. And he also disappears on Gopastami, and he received a very large inheritance and gave it all to Mahaprabhu, and accepted a begging bowl and lived as a vairagi for his entire life, a great renunciate. So his glories are sung in the Vaishnava Vandana that's done by Damodar Pandit, Sarvasva Prabhure Diya Bana Hate Laya. This is in honor of Dhananjaya Pandit. And so those are the holy days today. Those are the three personalities that we honor on Gopastami, besides the fact that we celebrate that Krishna has now graduated from calf, taking care of calves, to taking care of cows. And that's his service now. He's taking care of the cows. And there's a couple of nice quotes about cow puja. One is from the Brihat Parasara Smriti. Whoever feeds the cow with grass and water every day derives the benefit equivalent of performing the Ashwamedha Yagya.
Wow.
Which is, the horse sacrifice.
That's the one that Yudhisthira did, right? Can you?
Yes. This is where you sacrifice the horse at the fire yagya and then chant the mantras, and the horse comes back to life. The Ashwamedha Yagya and the Gomedha Yagya, these two yagyas, and the Gomedha, of course, they sacrifice a cow and the cow comes back to life. So in these two yagyas is where the animals are sacrificed, but they come back to life. They're not sacrificed and eaten as they're done in Durga Puja, but they're sacrificed and then brought back to life by mantra. This is to test the authenticity of the execution of the puja, that the Brahmins did the mantra so perfectly that it could bring the animal back to life. And it's written, I forget where, but you have to perform 100 Ashwamedha Yagyas in order to take birth as Lord Indra. And you have to perform your duty in Varnashram Dharma perfectly for 100 births in order to take birth as Lord Brahma. So
it's a long way home, isn't it?
Yeah. You got to be pretty dedicated to try and get there.
I think it's just best to meet Gurudev and go the quick way, huh?
Yeah. Take the back door out.
It's better be a rascal, much better.
Back door to Brudge.
Maharaji, thank you so much. That was
Thank
really
you.
good.
Please forgive me for my lateness. I was passed out here on the couch.
Well, no, actually, I think it made us all hungrier, Maharaj. It was like, we felt we were in abandonment and separation mood, and you came back from the dead and rescued the situation. So it was kind of extra tasty, I think.
Well,
In fact, you probably weren't asleep at all. You probably did the whole thing just to make us hungry.
I hope you enjoyed the stories today. I see a couple of young fellas there, Hari and Keshava. How you doing, boys? Did you enjoy the stories about Krishna today? Yeah?
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Margie, thank you so much for coming, standing in for Shamrani, doing 2 days in a row. Really appreciate it.
No problem.
We'll see you again next Saturday for the final day of your beard.
And then Sunday I'll make a brief appearance without my beard.
You should. No, Marge, you should. Just come and just beam in. We want to see it. That's the date. That's an absolute date. So just a reminder, everybody, we've got Nemi Mirage tomorrow, Monday, at the usual time of 6 o'clock. And by the way, let's see if I can find it. He's just been on a pretty cool conference called the, what's it called? Something about the International Consciousness Summit or something. So one of his co-speakers was Tony Robbins, which is quite a coup, actually. It's fantastic. So he's promoting the Vedic philosophy at a pretty major summit today. So that's great. Beautiful. Very, very well done.
All by the mercy of Prabhupada.
Sorry?
All by the mercy of Prabhupada and Gurudev. They're blessing his preaching.
100%. Madhavat, thank you so much for volunteering to do the bhajan tonight for Damaras to come. So I'll hand over to you. And everybody have a lovely evening and sleep well and see you tomorrow. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you so much.
Haribol.
Dandavat to you all.
Haribol.
Haribol.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Audio is okay? You can hear? Yashoda Prabhu? Yeah?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yes, very good. Yeah.
We can all hear you.
Sachidananda Rupa Lasata Kunda Gokule Bhajama Yashoda Bioloka Ladavamana Paramristamatya Tato Vitagopya Namamisharam Sachidananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajaman Rudantamoho Netra Yogmam Rejantam Karamboja Yogmena Satam Kanetram Mohoswasakampa Trirekam Kakanta Sritagrevadamo Param Bhaktivedanta Namamisharam Sachidananda Rupa iti driksvale labhe ananda kunde swagoshami majantam akyapayantam adiyeshita geshu bhakte jitatvam puna prematasta satavipivam namamishwaram sachidananda rupa lasat kundalam gokule brajaman varam deva moksham namokshavadimva nachanyam brineham vareshadapiho idam teva gunat gopala balam sadame manasavi astam keman namamishwaram sachidananda rupam lasat kundalam gokule brajaman idam te mukam bojama vyakta nile britam kuntalai snigdharaktas chagopya mohus chumbitam bimbarakta darame manasa virastam alam lakshagate namamishwaram sachidananda rupam lasat kundalam gokule brajaman namo deva damodarananta vishnu prasida prabodhuka jalabdi magna kripadristi brischati dinam batano grihane shama magya medyakshi durishe namamishwaram sachidananda rupam lasat kundalam gokule brajaman kuveratmajo badhamudevayatvat tvayamocito bhakti bhajo krito cha tata prema bhaktim swakame prayacha namokshe graho mesti damodare namamishwaram sachidananda rupam lasat kundalam gokule brajaman namaste studamne spuradiptidamne tvadiyadarayata deshvasyadamne namoradikaye tvadiyapriyaye nama Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Damodarastakam ki jai.
Hari Bol, Dandavat, Hari Bol, Dandavat Pranam.
People, everyone.